Measures of central tendency. Our objective for this video: determine the mean, also called the average, the median, and the mode or modes for a data set. Let's start off with defining what a measure of central tendency is. Okay, it's a number or numbers that represents the center of a numerical data set. Numbers here refer because you can have more than one mode, which we'll see shortly. It's one number that is used to describe the entire data set. And we have three measures of central tendency. I'm no doubt you're aware of them. They're called the mean, the median, and the mode. Let's start off by looking at the most common, which is the mean, also known by the word average. The mean is defined as the one number each number in the data set would be if all the numbers were the same. So if you have 10 different numbers, the mean is the one number they would all be if they were all the same. As we mentioned, it's the most commonly used measure of central tendency, and normally we find it by summing all the data items and dividing that sum by the number of items we have. So let's note that as an equation. The mean equals the sum of the data items divided by the number of items. In statistics language, which you may see here and there, X bar stands for the mean and is equal to, well, the sum is this summation symbol, which I think is Greek, and the sum of all the data items, well, all the data items are X's, and the number of items is N, N standing for number of items. So this is kind of the statistical equation. And of course, this is the equation in words. Okay, let's do an example. A fairly straightforward concept. We'll also do it using Desmos. Example 1, given the following 7 test scores, determine the mean or the average. Okay, let me come back up here a bit. The mean is the sum of the data items divided by the number of items. So the mean, which we know is equal to X bar. That is the statistical representation of mean. It's equal to the sum of the data items. Well, there are 7, so let's sum them up. 95 plus 78 plus 87 plus 92 plus 64 plus 83 plus 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, divided by the number of data items. Well, we have 7. That's a calculation. Put it into a calculator, and out comes 82. So the mean of this data set is 82. Again, in other words, if all of these numbers were the same number, they would all be 82. That's what the mean is. Let's do it in Desmos. Okay. So in Desmos, we're going to use the function mean, and we're going to use parentheses, and it'll find the mean for us. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. So here we have our screen in Desmos, and we're going to be working in the top left here. You have two choices. You can go to the keyboard, ABC down here in the bottom left, and you can type in the word mean. You'll notice it starts off showing it as an italic, thinking it's a variable. But once you type the word mean, it becomes, I guess, it's non-italicized, because now they know you want. Now it's a function that they want you to do something with it. So you can do this, and then you can go into the back into here, and you can put in a parenthesis, and you can put the numbers in just in the order we had them. So we had 95. The comma is over here on the left, so comma, and we had 95, 78, comma, 87. Notice it's kind of calculating the mean as you go. If you just had those three numbers, there's the mean, but we have more. So comma, 92, comma, 64, comma, 83, comma, and our last one was 75. I'll close the parenthesis, and the answer is 82, which is what we got mathematically. Another choice, one choice is to type the word mean. The other choice is to go in here in the bottom right to functions. And one of your menu choices is statistics. Mine was already selected. There's statistics. And you could simply press the mean right here, the mean button, and up comes the mean in here. And then you could put your list in. So either way, type in the word mean or go to functions and select mean from the statistics menu. Okay, so let's go back to here and remind ourselves what we did. We simply either typed the word mean in or selected it from the statistics menu, and then we put in all the numbers, 95, comma, and I'll just kind of put in some dots all the way to 75, and we got a mean of 82. Okay, let's take a look at median quickly. Alrighty, I think that's straight for you. The median is the middle number in the data set when the data are arranged in order. Okay, so you take your data set, you write, I usually do them in order from least to greatest, and then you count from outside inside, and the middle number is the median. Now, what happens is if there is no one middle number? Well, if there is no middle number per se, you have two numbers in the middle, then the median is the average of those two middle numbers. And we'll do an example that shows that. As we noted previously, the mean is the most common. However, if the data set contains a number or numbers that is significantly above or below the other numbers, okay, that number or those numbers will be called an outlier or outliers. The median is the better measure. So if you have, 4 test scores that are in the 90s, 92, 95, 93, and 91, and one test score that's in the 60s, well, that test score in the 60s is really different. It's significantly below the other 4 test scores. And so in that case, the median would be the better measure of kind of a central number, because that low test score would make the mean very low or pull it down a lot. So you want to kind of keep this in mind. Again, the mean is the most common, but if you've got a data point or data points that are really, really different than the majority, then you may find that the median is better because it's not affected by outliers. Example 2 with the median. Okay, find the median of these 6 numbers, so we got to put them in order. Okay, so let's put them in order, and again, I like to do this from least to greatest. And I like to check them off as I go. The lowest number is 61, and I'll kind of go like that, and then 72. This way I don't lose and I'll write them down again. And then 79. And then 85. And then 87. And finally 93. So I just took these 6 numbers. I wrote them in order from least to greatest. And I like to just kind of cross out. That's the lowest and the highest. I'm going to come into the middle. And so then I cross out the next 2. And you'll notice here, if I cross these 2 out, I have nothing. So I have 2 numbers that are in the middle in this case, not 1. I have 2 in the middle. So I'll take those 2 numbers and I'll find the average. So I'll add them up and divide them by 2. And it comes out that 82, this is the median of this data set, 82. Okay, let's take a look at this in Desmos. As you might imagine, Desmos has a mean function and Desmos has a median function. Let's take a look. Okay, I'll go back into our Desmos and make sure you can see it here. That should be pretty good. Let's X out those means. And this time, again, we could type in median, but this time I'll go to the functions and I'm in the stat menu and I'll select median, which is right here. No typing, it already sets me up with parentheses. And just you don't have to put the numbers in order or anything. It'll do it for you. So I'll put them in just as they were given. 72, comma, 61, comma, 85, comma, 93, comma, 79, comma, and finally 87, close the parenthesis, and it gives you the it gives you the median right there, 82. So that's using Desmos to find the median. How nice is that? Let's come back to here. And so we'll make a note of what we did there. We simply use Desmos, and we just put these in the order in which they were given to us. We didn't have to put them in any order. We didn't have to put them in order from least to greatest. Desmos took care of that for us, and we still came up with a median of 82, as you saw. Okay, the last measure of central tendency to talk about is the mode. Okay, the mode is the data value or values, because you can have more than one mode that occurs most often in a data set. I kind of like to think of this MO for mode, MO for most. That kind of works for me to remember what the mode is. Now, there may be no modes. You may not have a number that appears the most often. Maybe all your numbers appear once. In that case, you don't have a mode. You may have one mode, or you may have more than one mode. It just depends on the data set. So example 3, let's find the mode or the modes for each of the following data sets. Okay, letter A, 3, 8, 5, 8, 9, 10. You'll notice that 8 appears twice. 3, 5, 9, and 10 each appear only once. So in this case, we have one mode, and it is 8. Okay, data set B, 3, 8, 5, 8, 9, 3. Well, 8 appears twice, like before. 3 also appears twice. 5 and 9 appear one time only. So we have 2 modes. Okay, so the modes in this case are 3 and 8. And just let you know, because we have 2 modes, this is called bimodal, the prefix bi, of course, meaning 2. And example data set C, 3, 8, 5, 6, 9, 10. Well, every one of these numbers only appears once. Nothing appears more than anything else. That's what's important. They can each appear twice. You know, what's important is, does anything appear more than something else? In this case, the answer is no. So we'll simply say that there is no mode in this data set. When it comes to Desmos, there is no mode. There is no mode functionality in Desmos or most of your statistical calculators. It's just a matter of taking a look at the data set and see what appears the most often. So there you have it. Your measures of central tendency, the mean, the median, and the mode.